WoW Remix is closing in. There are only a few days left. Well, when I say few days, I mean 42 in this case. There are 42 more days left to play WoW Remix, which is honestly a game mode that's way better than Plunderstorm in my opinion, and it really brings and sparks a new life into Mist of Pandaria. But if you don't want to experience Mist of Pandaria and you want to go fast, I have the solution for you. First of all, you're gonna have to make a character. And to get this character to level 70 as fast as possible, there is this strategy which I think has been nerfed a little, but it still seems to work, and that is using Dungeon Finder and doing random heroic dungeons for a time runner, and that will give you some pretty good experience, some pretty good bronze, some pretty good spools of thread for your cape. But you have to understand the thing, you have to disable auto loot, and then do them until you're like level 25, and then do Mogushan Palace. After you do Mogushan Palace, do again heroic random dungeons until you're like 35, and then you should do, I think it was, let's see, Mogushan Palace and then Heart of Fear. Perfect. Then from 35 to like 45 or 40, you can do dungeons again, and then do Terrans of Endless Spring. It's important to never collect anything on the ground, and that's why it's important to have auto loot disabled so you don't accidentally gather things. Because at the end of these 40 levels that you'll be just going fast, which are going to go pretty nicely, you will probably get to the max level. I say probably because every time I try this, even with a maxed out character, things don't end up that way. I still need to do something else, a little bit more to get over to 70. But that's not really a big problem when you look at things. An important thing to note is that doing this isn't really the fastest way. And I say this because if you're stuck in a class that's only DPS, for example, like my mage here, then queues will be a little bit unbearable. A little bit more than just unbearable. But once that happens, once you get past the idea that it's gonna take a little bit longer once you're DPS, it's the DPS issue we all know about, then you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna gather threads of spool and bronze for your character. An important addition to note, or an important thing to note, is that to get your time runner's advantage, to get your cape strong, it's going to be hard. If this is your first character and doing time running with, the character is gonna start with some pretty low stats. Terribly low. Like when I say low, I mean like 0. If it's your first character, it's 0. If it's your second character and you already have a character at level 70 that has some of the achievements, and we're gonna look at the achievements right now. They were somewhere around here. I think it was power or something. I don't really remember, but it had to deal, yeah, infinite power. Once you get the achievements to infinite power at like 12, then your new character will have better abilities. But until then, you're kind of stuck with the low stats you get. That isn't really that big of an issue once you hit 70, and then you can start to repeat that whole process all over again to get more bronze and more spools of thread for your cape. And here's the thing. You go like, okay, I'm 70, let's start endgaming. How do I gear up? You're supposed to do your normal raids, dungeons, and so on, and they will hit you with gear that's at maximum a level of 3, item level of 346. And that's it. That's the maximum level that will fall from any drop. After that, you're gonna have to go to a bazaar, a timeless bazaar, an infinite bazaar, and find this guy, Momentus, who just keeps hammering away at that little thing of scrap. Anyway, here you will talk to him, and you'll have the possibility to upgrade your items. Only some of them. It's important to note that the weapon will be your biggest stat upgrade. Things are going to go to higher numbers because of this stat upgrade. It's important to go into consideration that your weapon is your priority, and it should always be your priority to invest your bronze. That is, of course, if you want to get a higher item level and you don't want to invest your bronze into mounts and transmogs, which is a pretty good bronze investment in my opinion, and it's something that I like doing as well. That's why I have a few alt characters. I have like a warrior, and I plan to do a warlock and a demon hunter, so that's gonna be interesting. But that's the idea. You have to keep your bronze here. Keep your bronze, always upgrade your lore staff, or I guess your weapon, lore staff in my case. Another important thing to note is that we're gonna redo the process, but during your leveling experience and also during the raiding and so on, even when you're doing the gearing up, you should come here, and each of these guys will have a quest prepared, and that will be like defeat 3 dungeon bosses, defeat 2 raid bosses, and do a scenario. Scenarios are pretty easy to do. It depends on the scenario itself, in my opinion, but they're pretty easy to get through. I don't think you'll spend 10 minutes on them, and after that you can come here and they will reward infinite catches. Infinite catches are very good, are a very good addition, because those will give you extra bronze and extra spools of thread, and it will be good. No, not spools of thread. Well, I think they do give some sort of cape boosts, if I remember well. The idea is that doing this will help you overall, since you will get more items and more things to do. Important also, collect all your gems so you can socket your items and be perfectly up there for everything around you. Of course, besides gems, you'll also get trinkets, and I will leave that to you to find the best trinkets that work for one way or another. For example, for my mage, I used to have my cogwheel trinket on my boots, used to be Death's March, which is a pretty good ability when it comes to a class that doesn't have that much mobility, especially when we're talking about Death Knights. But in this case, I do have Blink as a mage, and the cooldown isn't really worth the hassle. So I found Trailblazer, which gives me 30% movement speed. It is true that I lose 5% of it, but that's a good thing. It's not active, it's a passive. It just goes on as long as I don't attack things for 3 seconds, and that is something you will probably deal with when during raids, because boy oh boy, some of them are huge. Like, listen to this. To understand how much time you'll invest, these 3, Mogushan Vaults, Heart of Fear, and Terrence of Endless Spring, these will be the easiest to do. Okay, you can even see that in LFR they're like spread into like 2 wings, and it goes like 6 bosses here, 6 there, but the distance between them is kind of small. Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar, which are excellent story-wise raids in my opinion, and very good for getting your spools and your bronze to upgrade your character and level up, of course. They tend to be pretty huge. There's a long running way between certain bosses, and there's many mobs in between. You can probably see that, it's like 4 wings and so on. It's like your usual raid in this case, in retail. So that's it about Remix. This is what you should know, and some advice on what you should do. Again, it's not a sprint. It's not even a marathon. You have to enjoy this event as you wish. You're not forced to go to max level to reach 576 or 76 or whatever 75 item level they ask for this pre-made group. Let's look at them. We're gonna find one. Where is it? These heroic groups, these mythic groups. If you don't want to, you don't really have to. You can spend your time leveling alts, having fun, experiencing the expansion as it was, or as you technically can in retail as well, without the event, but that's a different story. And then just collect mobs, collect mounts from this guy, from Hemet Nissingway, the whatever number. You know, things that you're missing, mounts like the cranes, the yaks, maybe the juggernauts too. I already know this one. That's good. Raptors, these weird things, or maybe you plan even to go for the Korkron Juggernaut and these amazing dragons. It's all up to you, and you don't have to feel forced to grind it up as much as you can to get here. This is something that you should be doing at your own pace, and you should be enjoying it in your own time. It doesn't matter if you want to get mounts, or if you want to get from these guys, you want to get appearances that you're lacking or missing. Because here's an important aspect that I forgot to mention. I can use my mage, if I have enough bronze, to buy this appearance for demon hunters, druids, monks, and rogues, and learn it, and that will transfer to any of those classes, and they'll be able to use it even if I opened it up in this, even if I open it up with a mage. So that's what I say, take your time. It's not a sprint, it's not a marathon. This is something that you should be doing because you enjoy it as it is. But that's been all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and my other videos where I plow through this game in 3 hours. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the thing about liking and subscribing. It really helps grow the channel. Thank you.